The best laid plans of mice and men sometimes work and oftentimes they don't. Now, I want you to come along with me for a day in life. And you know what? We're starting this off with one day. And I have big plans that I am expecting to get done by the end of today. And if not, you know what's going to happen. We're going to have to move it over to day 2. But those plans are going to get done by hook or crook. So stay right there. I'm showing you this lid holder. And you know, it looks so nice. But the problem is that when you put even a small lid on the top, you're unable to close the door because the top of the lid is going to be off the, way too high, and it interferes with the working of the door. So you know what I'm going to do. This is about to disappear. I really forgot to give you a bird's eye view as to what was down in this cabinet. But we are going to get it nice and cleaned out. And the big guy's going to take that little short shelf out. And we're going to put some pull-outs inside of this cabinet and see if that works a lot better. Because right now, things are getting lost on that little short shelf. And as much as there are some small things that can go on it, there are other things that just aren't working. Before I realized I was really going to shoot a video of this, I had actually cleared a few things. And I had a huge grill, tabletop or countertop grill that I cleaned up and placed in another spot. The crock pot needs to stay close because I use it at least every couple of weeks. I had cake containers, they're those odd shape containers that you just need to find a place for. I had an ice bucket, and here's the kicker. I had 10 million, and no, I'm not stretching the truth. I had 10 million cups because when the kiddos come, there's always a need for cups. And it seems like they always use them up faster than the dishwasher, and I can clean them. And at that point, they were very small, so they weren't really large enough to do all the washing. So I just kind of kept extra cups, extra water bottles for the pool. And here we went to see the Pirates of the Caribbean. I went to see that dinner show, the Pirates Voyage. Let's see if I can get that, Pirates Voyage, so you can see that. And which was a wonderful show. And of course, everybody had to come home with a mug. So as much as I hate to get rid of the pirates, I'm going to be kind and probably let this mug go to the consignment store, because I'm sure there's someone somewhere waiting for a pirate's mug. Ahoy! And as you can see, tops, Chinese food containers, you name it. So I have my Trader Joe's bag there, and I think I'm going to stuff that Trader Joe's bag with most of these cups, because the kids usually bring their cups with them, and we all have Yetis, so they're going to bring their cups with them, and then that way we won't have to worry about all of these excessive numbers of cups. So we're going to take care of that. And that, in and of itself, is going to clear an awful lot out of that cabinet. I really thought I could get all 3 of those cabinets cleared out and done in a day. But guess what? That didn't happen. So instead of just one day, it's going to take us a couple. So I'm getting ready to go to cabinet 2. Now, you know, anytime you're working and trying to clear out a cabinet, the first thing you need to do is to get everything out, get it wiped down, and then start to figure out what are you going to do with it. Now, you know, the big guy has these pull out inserts. I'm not even sure that they're going to fit at this point, so I'm not really worried about that. I just want it clean and straight. I really needed to clean out this cabinet, and I thought, well, I will just take a moment, take everything out of the cabinet and give it a good look, because I'm almost sure there are going to be some things in this cabinet that I need to get rid of. And you know, so we're just going to kind of take a look at it. I'll show you what they are, but we're going to speed it up just a little bit so that you can see that I'm removing. I'm then taking a very close look and trying to decide what stays and what goes. You can see that I've taken out the electric knife cutter, the griddle, the wire racks for cooling cookies, my cast iron pans. I've taken out, I've got cupcake containers. I've got a huge soup pot. And you know what? You see those little silver pans right there? Those little silver pans I purchased about 3 summers ago, and the plastic is still on them. I've never used them. So I'm kind of glad to see those. But as you can see, I've got some pans that have been in there quite a while, and they really need a good cleaning. So I'm going to use the Clorox wipes, and I'm going to wipe everything in there down very quickly. I forgot I had these little pans, nice little small pans to be able to use in the oven. So, and in fact, they're still wrapped and still have tags on them. So I'm going to put them over in the sink, and we're going to get them cleaned up, and we're going to get them in use. Now, I have quite a few larger, like 9 by 13 pans. I do want to keep those. I don't want to lose those, and some of them are almost brand new. So I'm going to get the dust out of them, and I think I'm going to put them on the shelf. But before I do that, I have this grill pan that I use, and it is quite dusty. So let me get that taken care of, get it wiped off. I can tell I haven't used it in a while. It's been sitting here. So I'm going to get that cleaned off, and we're going to get that put back in. I'm going to turn it so that I can lay other things inside. So that's in. And let's see what's next. We need all of the flat pans on top. So I'm going to put those there. This needs to go in there. I'm not sure whether this will fit. Put that under there. Okay, that'll work. And wonder if I can get my... These kind of projects are really hard on the knees. Okay, so they're in. Now I have a huge soup pot that I can see easily. And I'm going to slide that right into the back. Put that. Well, guess what? Everything didn't get done. Not in one day anyway. So we're going to have to move some things over to day 2. And I think we'll finish it up today. So let's get to it. Well, this is as far as I've gotten for the moment. And I decided that what I would do, you can see the mess here on the floor. And what I decided was that I was going to move over to the other cabinet. And it's got lots and lots of goodies in it, and some of which I can still use, and some of which I think may have to go, because I'm looking at sets and sets of measuring cups, and I hate those little half shelves. And I realize the fact that if we put a whole shelf, then you wouldn't be able to get to everything at the bottom. Things would get lost. But the half shelves are absolutely, for the most part, useless. So let's see what we can do. I decided to use baskets and use those to corral some of the items that are small, like the measuring cups and measuring spoons. All those kind of things can go down here in its basket. So everything in that white basket that you see is related to baking. I also have a second basket. Not quite sure how they're both going to fit in there, and I may certainly, you can see I brought a backup, not in white, but I do have a backup that I can use if I need a larger container. Well, I've got everything back in. You can see on that little half shelf I put all of my large serving bowls, as well as salad bowls on top. I've got a chopper up there, and those little odd shaped things just fit perfectly into that side. Then when you get down here, I'm going to bring in a little closer. I put in 2 baskets, and that works. Now I'm going to take some of my disinfectant wipes, and I'm going to start cleaning out the bottom of the shelf, because once the pullouts go in, you're really not going to be able to get to that. And I'm going to see if I can knock out that upper shelf. I don't think it's going to be that hard. Well, I think the big guy's going to have to bring some tools in, because I can't seem to figure out how to get that half shelf out. But you know what? It's okay. He'll take care of that. But at least the bottom of the shelf is clean, and I've got everything out. So I'm going to get all of these cups put away and into this bag, and eventually this bag will go to the consignment store. There are several things to keep in mind when you're taking things away, whether it's from your kitchen and when you're trying to reorganize. You got to remember that some of these things you have not seen in years. And I know some of the things I'm looking at I haven't seen in 10. So it's time for it to go. So I'm going to see what fits, what tops, and put the tops on them, because someone will need them. And then I'm going to, I had some plastic cups, and I think I'm going to let those go too, even though, they work fine. Now, these are those little bottles, and, I thought we would actually use them a lot, but now that we have Yetis, we don't use them at all. So I'm going to dispose of that. This, for $1, I think I can get rid of. Got one of those bottles just to hold liquid. I can get rid of that. Now, I love this Bubba mug. And it's one of those summer Bubba mugs, but I can't find the top. There's only one top. And I don't want to get rid of it, because I'm thinking, here's the mate. I bought one for the big guy and one for me. And if you can see, it's mine that has disappeared. So I'm going to wait a little while and do a little more searching and see if I can find the top that goes with it. I had 8 of these, and I'm down to 1 or 2. So they're gone. This little coffee mug, doesn't hold enough coffee, so that's gone. I think I can get rid of this. That's gone. And say bye-bye, ahoy matey, pirate's voyage. They're gone because the kids, when they come, like I said, they're not using them either. Now I do have some extra straws that I'll probably hold on to, but they won't go down in that cabinet. So that's one good thing. So I'm just going to put those away. I need my ice bucket, so I'm going to keep that. And we're almost there. This is one of those bottles that has like a little mustard bottle or mayonnaise bottle that you can put on sandwiches. I'm going to keep this because we may need it if we're doing something outside at the grill. Now, I had a mug that I got when I retired, and well, I won't say when I retired, just every year, our school usually gave us something to remind us that we could use throughout the year. And you know, I think I'm gonna keep this just because for the sake of nostalgia. Mwah! Swift Creek Sailors. So they're gonna stay. But these little cups aren't big enough anymore, so they're gone. And as you can see, let me turn you around, the Trader Joe's bag is full. And that's pretty good. Here's one I can get rid of. Now this is my cup and I'm drinking out of it because I need water. I hope it's cooler in your area than it is here. It is 99 degrees and the humidity must be at 100 or close to 100 because it is so humid outside. Now this was for some kind of cup with a straw, but I can't find that, so that's gone as well. Here's another one of those little cups. That's gone. So this has eliminated, all of this was down in that cabinet. So I didn't have room for anything else. So now we've got some space. You know, I appreciate the fact that you have come into the kitchen and you're sitting around that table. And I can't let you leave until you have something to eat. So today we're going to put together a delicious meal. I picked up some Amish medium egg noodles, which I love and use a lot. Today's Amish chicken noodle casserole came from this Mennonite cookbook, and I've listed it down below just in case you might want to take a look because they have delicious meals in this book. A chicken broth for the chicken and noodle casserole. And what I'm going to do right now is to take everything out of this broth, everything I can get out, and then I'm going to strain it. I think I got everything out of there. Now I'm going to run it through the strainer and get all of the goodness, all the little extra bits. And you know, if your family isn't bothered by the little pieces of chicken and little pieces of fat that may show up, then you may not have to strain. We can just ladle it through. All right, there we go. Like in my case, some of the pepper was a little large, not as fine as some other peppers, but sometimes I like those larger flakes of pepper. And you know, we had parsley in, so we'll add some more parsley later. So I'm just going to take all of that out. You can see I still have little small chunks of carrots that hung around. I thought I had everything. Had some little pieces of onion, even though we kept those onions pretty large, actually. Okay, now let's see if I can balance this. See if it'll stay. Maybe. Maybe. All right, right there, so I can hold on to this pot. I'm going to take my time because I want that to stay in place. Let's see if I can get this. Just pick it up and pour the last of it in. There we go. Now I'm going to keep this pot just in case I need it. But in the meantime, we still have take my spoon and just go back and forth, make sure I get everything out of what we got. Okay. Okay. I can throw all of this away, and we have nice, clean broth. The recipe says to cook the noodles directly in the chicken broth. And once you've done that, then you're going to drain the noodles. And what I did was to save the liquid that came off of the chicken, off of the noodles. And I'm actually going to make that into, I'm going to pour that into the broth, and that's going to help to thicken that broth just a tiny bit. So we're going to do that. And then we start to add the peas and the other items that need to go into this casserole. Now we're going to add in 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, which is just going to give a creamy background to the casserole and make it absolutely delicious. Now, toward the end of this, and just before I cook it, I'm going to add just a tad more broth because we want our casserole to be able to cook well, get everything nice and hot, and be nice and moist. Now, of course, we need seasonings, and parsley must be a part of this. So you can certainly add those things that you want. Now, I'm going to add in some parsley, a real good chunk of parsley, a good handful. I'm also going to add in salt and pepper, as well as I'm going to throw in some house seasoning, which includes the garlic, the onion powder, and other good spices. So let's do that too. this chicken noodle casserole made enough for me to be able to have some for dinner, as well as put some into the freezer. And this is a night when I'm putting it into the freezer because I got caught up in doing something else and didn't video. Actually putting the first casserole together. So we're going to put the second one together so you can see what we're going to do. So I'm going to take this out of the container, and I've allowed it to thaw most of it anyway. And you're going to see that we're going to do it in layers. So we have mixed up the chicken, the noodles, the peas, and all the goodness. We've mixed all of that up, and so we're going to press that down into the casserole dish. And once we've done that, if we're going to start to the side, you can see that I have enough to be able to actually probably make another casserole. So I'm going to put that back into the freezer. Now, we're going to need some grated cheese, and I even took out some frozen chicken broth because I thought, it's been sitting a while. Those noodles have had an opportunity to soak up some of the liquid, so we're going to add a little bit of broth to this, a little extra. Then we're going to crumble about 10 buttery crackers. So I'm just going to break those up, get those ready, and I'm going to take this glass and press them right here on the saucer. We're saving ourselves. That's what we're doing. We're saving ourselves. So I've got enough cracker crumbs, I think, to be able to cover this. I think I used about 10 on the first one. So I'm using those either Ritz or I can't think of the other one, but anyway, anybody's buttery crackers is what you want. And so we're going to get all those crushed up pretty nicely, and I like mine pretty fine. And you'll also see that I've got a package of grated cheese. Excuse me, and this is grated extra sharp cheese that I'm going to sprinkle. Now, if you don't like extra sharp cheese, you can certainly use another type of cheese. Now, there's our crackers that we're going to sprinkle over the top. But we're going to also put in about 1.5 cups of grated sharp cheddar cheese. And I think that's going to work out just perfectly. So there's our broth that I thawed out as much as possible. So I'm going to put a little bit of that, about a cup of that broth, over the casserole, because it's going to need a little liquid to cook in. Even though the chicken has already been cooked, but we need enough liquid so that it can come up to temperature the way it's supposed to, and have just a tiny bit of gravy. I probably won't need this whole cup, but we'll put it in until I can see it toward the top, and you can see the juice as it ran in. So I'm just going to kind of play with that and get everything nice and moist. And once I've done that, then I'm going to smooth it back down again and start to add the additional layers. So let's get I think I'm going to do probably I'll do the cheese first. And how much cheese you want is up to you. If your family doesn't like cheese, then don't put cheese on top. Or if you rather just do it with Parmesan, you could do it with Parmesan. Sometimes I do a little bit of both. It just depends on what I have in the kitchen. And so we're going to sprinkle this on. And I'm not sure that I'm going to actually use all of this. This is about 1.5 cups, actually more like 2. And I'm just going to break it up and put it right over that casserole and just spread it out. And you know what? I think it worked out perfectly. We had just enough cheese for that casserole. There we go. This is going to be so good. I'm telling you, when it's hot and bubbly, there's nothing better. So there we go. We got almost all the cheese on. We're going to sprinkle our nice buttery crackers on top. And actually, this is enough to serve 4 adults. So if you have children, then you can actually probably get at least 2 adults and maybe 3 children. Or if you have teenagers, then count them as an adult. There we go. We're going to get that topping on there. And then we're going to sit this in the oven. There we go. There we go. Get that right on that casserole. We're going to cover it with some foil, and that's just to protect it and to get it to get hot a little quicker. We're going to put it into the oven, and we're going to let this baby cook. And depending upon how fast you want it, if you want your casserole done pretty fast, then you're going to want to put it on a high temperature. But I'm actually going to put mine in the refrigerator and bring it out later on in the evening. So I am opening my oven. It's nice and hot. I'm going to sit it on this pan, so in case it bubbles, it will be protected. The oven will be protected and I won't have to clean it up. So there we go. It's ready to go in the oven. You may also decide how brown you want your casserole to be. And the big guy likes his not too brown, so that's okay. There we go. I am so glad you came to the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, because here we do things in the kitchen and we do it for the kitchen. We also are building our families, and we want to have our families right here around the table as often as possible. And so I'm excited because you're here. You are a part of the Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme family. And you know what? If you just stopped in and you're a guest, I hope you'll come back again, because I have certainly enjoyed your presence. Now, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're doing and how your summer's going. So enjoy,